Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are dialing in from for District 24 Leadership Panel discussion today. I'd like to go ahead and welcome you to our discussion, and I would like our folks on the call to go ahead and introduce themselves, the people who are the panel participants. And we'll go ahead and start with our distinguished district director.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mark Fegan.
Our program quality director, distinguished.
Good morning. I'm Cindy Jenkins.
Okay, thank you. Our distinguished club growth director.
Greetings. My name is Keith Jones.
Greetings. We'll move on to our administrative manager.
Good morning. This is Katie Higgason.
Our finance manager.
Good morning. This is Mike Hasenkamp.
Our public relations manager.
Good morning. My name is Calvin Custard.
Our distinguished division director.
Good morning. I'm Pamela Hogan.
Another, I'll have him repeat himself, but he is also an area director.
Hello, this is Mike Hasenkamp again.
Dual purpose. Thank you, Mike. Our immediate past district director, distinguished.
Good morning. This is Linda Wilson.
Distinguished logistics manager.
Cynthia Coleman.
Our distinguished parliamentarian.
Steele-Codr.
And our distinguished past international director.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Floy Westermeier.
Very good. Thank you, everyone, for being agreeing to be on the panel and serve for some questions that we have going on today. And I think this will be interesting. We want to share with you the opportunities that are available in District 24 from a leadership perspective. And folks, when I said the word distinguished, that meant that those folks had their distinguished Toastmaster. They've gone through the different ranks of the district. They've taken all of their speeches that they need to do, and they have become distinguished. And so that's the path that most folks take when they are in Toastmasters. Not always, but oftentimes the end goal or the medal or the trophy at the end is distinguished Toastmaster. And so being in a leadership position affords you that opportunity to become a distinguished Toastmaster, which I call it the holy grail of Toastmasters. Other people call it something different, but it's fun and it's interesting and challenging to get there. There are opportunities within District 24, some elected volunteer positions that you would be able to participate in to be able to get some credit to put that toward distinguished Toastmaster. Those elected volunteer positions are district director, program quality director, club growth director, and then we have 4 division director opportunities across the state of Nebraska and the western part of Iowa. So with that, you will see that there, as we go forward, there are certain categories or check marks that you have to have in order to be an elected position. And we can talk a little bit more about that on our panel. But there are certain qualifications that you would need in order to put your name on the ballot in order to be elected to one of these positions. These would also give you credit towards your distinguished Toastmaster. If we go on to the next slide, there are also appointed positions. You don't have to be elected to the district. You could serve on an appointed position, and that would be administrative manager is a credited role, finance manager, public relations manager, an area director. And any of these items, these could be appointed, these roles could be appointed, and at the bottom you'll see the asterisk. It's a credited role. We would want a person to fill this role from July 1st to June 30th. However, if someone backs out or they decide that the opportunity isn't right for them at this particular year, someone else could fill in, but to get credit for that role, you would need to fill in no later than August 31st. Otherwise, it's an experiential opportunity as a volunteer as opposed to a credited opportunity. The experiential opportunities really afford you a lot of diversity for you during that year, even if you're not getting credit. It's great experience. So for the next year. So if somebody does back out, it's after August 31st, we're still going to look for someone to fill that role for the district as an experience instead of a technical credit, and then you would be able to fulfill it the next year as a credited role. There are volunteer or selected positions such as the social media team, the assistant area director, and the logistics manager, parliamentarian, and a technical chair. There are other roles, informal roles that you would be able to help with District 24. These are the main core roles that you will find in the district to help it move along and be successful in the year. We'll go ahead to the next leadership role. We've already introduced our folks here today that are assisting with this panel discussion, and they'll be able to share with you some information and maybe some whys as to why they are participating in the leadership roles. I'll go ahead and go down to the next slide. We'll talk about the district leaders, why serve. So I polled each of them and I asked them, why are you serving? You'll see here, there's a few of their answers. And again, you know, not being too catty on this, but everyone, we would like to get credit, and you check the box to be able to go on to the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And having that available to you, it just opens so many doors, and it just means that you've grown and you've challenged yourself and you want to help others. A lot of times you get into Toastmasters to better yourself, but then you want to help others. You want to stay and help others because you've gained so much from Toastmasters and you want to share it with others. And you'll see here a lot of the themes on this particular page are they wanted to, you know, become a distinguished Toastmaster, challenge themselves. They were asked. That's the big thing, is they were asked a lot of times, but some folks, you don't need to be asked. You just step up to the challenge and raise your hand. So it's a combination of folks being asked and wanting to challenge themselves and stepping up to help the district because they feel that they can offer their services and that they can help others as they grow. And they saw a need. They're always willing to help. And this is definitely a volunteer organization. And you'll find that everyone on this panel today is willing to help you. I'll be vulnerable today and authentic, and I'll say my biggest weakness is parliamentarian. And at the time when I was serving in a district role, I asked others for help, and they were gracious in providing that to me. And I really appreciate that. They won't point fingers at me. They'll occasionally maybe make fun of me every once in a while, but in good jest and good humor. But that's part of growing and learning, and not as far as being friends, because we're all friends. You have your own family of friends here, and that's the fun. You kind of sometimes poke at your friends, but in a gentle, kind way, because you learn and grow in that perspective. But they also help you. It's more helping and maybe 1% of teasing. But that's fun. That's how you remember it. And that's how you share special memories over the course of that year. And I definitely have special memories from the years of serving in a district leadership role. And I should probably also say my name. I'm Distinguished Toastmaster Sherry Wells Chesley, and I'm a past district director. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And we're going to start out with the questions. And so these first two questions, I'm actually going to go to our own Cindy Jenkins to answer these two questions, to share just a little bit about her insight. So if you just take for each question just about 1 to 2 minutes to share with us what your thoughts are on volunteers, why are volunteer leaders so critical to District 24, as well as how much time is involved in serving in a district leadership role. Take it away, Cindy.
Well, thank you, Sherry. Volunteer leaders are very critical to this district or any district because they ensure the health and welfare of the district and the continued growth. If we didn't have these district leaders, the clubs would be out there and they would do whatever they wanted, which is okay, but they may never achieve the true goals that Toastmasters wants them to achieve. Would they be distinguished? No, probably not. And we would never see their growth as much as we see them now. We would also not have the ability to grow as leaders ourselves. And that's pretty important for us. And that is what I see our volunteer leaders at the top of District 24 or any district. Now, how much time is involved? As much time as you want to put into it, but I'll give you a rundown right now. District leadership, we have monthly DEC meetings, which is approximately 4 hours on the second Saturday of the month. We do a kickoff meeting for training in June for our new DEC members. It's about a day and a half. That's a Friday night and a Saturday. Area directors, you have to do at least 2 visits with each of your clubs, plus a report, one due by the end of November, one due by the end of May. And you also have to put together a contest for your area. I would also recommend doing an introductory meeting with each of your clubs before you do a formal report meeting. Division directors work with your area directors. Many of them do division meetings, and they're responsible for division contests. And I do know most division directors put in more time than that. And I'm sure Pamela Hogan will tell you that. You'll be responsible for attending 2 district-wide meetings per year, one in the fall and one in the spring. There are TLIs that we do for special training sessions for the club officers and any member. There's many online classes offered by the district and also by TI. And you're also able and can offer a double dozen articles, and that's on your own. All of that is available to you and increases your leadership potential. And I'll give this back to you now, Sherry.
Excellent. Thank you, Cindy. Wow, that seems pretty doable. I mean, if you divide up the amount of time you have in a week and then the amount of activities that go on in Toastmasters, and if you're working full time, it's all about time management. Would you say, Cindy? Would you agree?
It's definitely about time management.
Yep, prioritization and time management. I think our folks on the leadership team this year, they do a great job at that, and it's really important. And you get so much more out of some underlying themes that come from it. It is just amazing that when you get through that year and you think about where you started to where you've ended, and it's just like, wow, it's simply amazing how that happens and how you grow in ways that you never thought possible, and some underlying ones that you don't even see for yourself, but others see it in you. So thank you, Cindy, for sharing that. Next question I would like to move on to is, how long do you serve in a leadership role? And so I'd like Cynthia Coleman, if you would go ahead and share your thoughts on this particular question.
Thank you, Sherry, for asking that question. How long? Well, the typical time frame is 1 year, as has been explained. And as far as from June 1st, July 1st, all the way to June 30th. And that is 1 year. And I have enjoyed being a part of the district leadership role. I've been doing it for several years. Take a year off, come back, and it's an awesome opportunity to learn more about leadership skills and communication skills. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Cynthia. Cindy, the nice thing that Cindy, to highlight, just to take a nugget of what she just mentioned was, take a year off. Guess what? Toastmasters meets you where you are. So if you're in a point in your life where you can only give 1 year, but then maybe in a couple years you'd like to become part of the district trio, and that's a longer commitment, it's great. Whenever you are able to come back to Toastmasters and devote time to it, that's wonderful. We'll meet you where you are, and we'll take you where you are, and we'll help you grow and learn, and you'll have a friendship throughout the district and throughout international as well. Toastmasters runs internationally, and that's nice. So, which leads us to our next question, which is, why do we even need to have district leaders? So I'd like to put that to Keith Jones, if you'd take that away and share with us the need.
Certainly, Sherry. Thank you for that question. Why do we need district leadership? It's always been shown to me that Toastmasters is like an inverted pyramid. The most important part of the organization is the membership. in the clubs, but they need support. And for their support, the area directors are there to help them do their job, help their members, and everything else. The division directors are there to help the area directors. And the district core, the trio, and the other people that are helping are there to help not only the division directors and the area directors, but also the members. District leadership is there from an organizational standpoint to support the most important part of our group, and that is the members. So we need district leaders not only to provide that support, but also because Toastmasters is the most positive experience that you can have in life. Because where in the world can you try something and have people support you and tell you how you can do it better next time, things that you can do to improve? Because this is all about improvement, learning, and becoming not only better communicators, but better leaders. To become better leaders, we need to practice this process. And the process is leadership, which district leadership can provide for you a chance to learn those skills and grow as a person in your ability to communicate, in your ability to lead. And that's one of the most important parts about being a district officer in any position, is not only learning and growing yourself, but supporting your fellow members. Thank you, Sherry.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Keith. That is so true. I often thought when I got into leadership role, I'm like, I'm not going to know how to do this. And folks were super, super kind and nice about sharing their, their thoughts and insights about how I could improve. And I came into this and the first thing I remember is someone telling me it's all in the manual. And it's so true. If you read the manual, you ask questions and you be curious, it's in the manual, and then you have all your supporters along the way, and they're going to cheer you on, and they're super helpful, and that's what got me through my time in the district. And so it is so true what Keith said, is it's really the opportunity to learn and grow and be supported. So let's talk about, how does District 24 leadership help me with my day job and grow as a person? So you know what, Floy's been a past international director and also a district director. And so I would really like to pick Floy's brain on this particular question.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sherry. One of the things that I have found in the Toastmasters program is that people assume that you know a whole lot more than you do, and that you can communicate and you're a good leader because you're a Toastmaster. I was able to get 3 different jobs that I truly wanted simply because of those magic words, she's in Toastmaster leadership. I remember when I was working down for the Army, I wanted to become an adjunct college professor. One of the ladies I worked with was leaving, and I mentioned to her I'd like to have her job because they didn't have anybody to take it. She went to the college and she said to them, it was Southwest Baptist University, I have someone in my office that has the paperwork. She's Toastmaster in leadership. Do you want to interview her? They said, no, wait, she's Toastmasters. Take her to your next class, give her the books, show her the ropes, let her take over. No interview, just Toastmasters was a magic word. I stayed with the university for 4 years before we moved. Then I was an area director at that time, by the way. Then when I came here to Omaha, I applied for a job with the National Park Service, and it was kind of close there between me and another person. And then they said, she is an international director, leadership with Toastmasters. I got the job. Again, simply because of Toastmasters. And not only did I get that job, but I also got an extra job because they assumed I knew how to train. And so I got to develop one of the first training programs via television, closed circuit television, that the Department of Interior had. So it's great. Toastmasters gets you in the door when other things won't. Back to you, Toastmaster Sherry.
Thank you very much, Floy. It's amazing. It is a worldwide recognized international organization, and so it does help you to be able to move forward in your career path. And also it helps with your other extracurricular activities that you might have within, say, Boy Scout leadership or Girl Scout leadership or things like that. It's even more important now with your, fellow church organizations and things like that. You can leverage your Toastmasters experience, especially with Zoom and mastering your Zoom capabilities that you have now. So let's go ahead and move on to some main differences between division directors and area directors. And I would like to tap into Pamela Hogan's experience for that. So Pamela, take it away.
Thank you, Sherry. The difference between a division director. Oh,
Oftentimes when people say Sherry, they say Siri, and you'll get that.
Yeah, okay. No surprise to me. The difference between the division director and the area director, some of what you've already heard. There are the speech contests. Division directors are helpers and will assist the area directors with the speech contest, as well as conduct their own Division B, or well, with my case, Division B contest. Also, division directors will set goals for the division. What does your division look like? What do you want to happen in your division? At the same time, you want to look at what's happening at the district level and at the club level to bring that all together and assist with the area directors there. You want to ensure that the club members are getting what they bargained for. Are they meeting the DCP Distinguished Club program? Are they? What are we doing to help them get there? With the division director, we also have the role of providing information to the district leaders, meaning the trio. We provide reports to them. We also give an oral report during the deck meeting. That's something that you don't really find out until maybe once you get into the position of the division director. It's good to know ahead of time, then you're not shocked. As far as the area directors work closely with the clubs. They make sure that the club is doing what it needs to do without being overbearing to them or towards them. They are what I consider to be the first line of defense, because they are there in the trenches to tell me as a division director or the district what is going on. Is the club doing what it needs to do to reach goals? Is it a club that doesn't want to do much of anything? We have to be able to make that determination. Area directors help us do that. Also, the speech contest. Area directors are working together collectively to have speech contests, B11, 12, 13, B14 and 15. Collectively, we'll have individual contests. There is an opportunity there for them to grow and to learn more about each other, establish an additional rapport with the clubs, and then to understand what it takes to be a leader as it relates to working well with others. The area director, as you mentioned earlier, is an appointed position. The division director is an elected position. Some things are the same, but there are distinct differences between the two. And that is all that I have.
Okay, super. Thank you so much. I want to piggyback on that question with, does district leadership offer training? So Pamela talked about, the differences between division and area. And so to further clarify how, there's differences, there is some training. So what training does district leadership offer? Training on how to be successful in my role. So not only at the area and division director level, but other roles as well. So I'd like to pose that to Mike and share your insights on, does district leadership offer training on how to be successful in my role?
Well, thanks, Sherry. You can look at this question in several different ways. Looking at it from somebody who's not a district officer, but maybe is a club officer or considering a club officer position, probably there's three main ways to do that. One would be is input from your area director. The area director is concentrating on making sure all the clubs are successful and the individual members of those clubs are successful. Another area for training would be to attend the TLIs. I believe those are quarterly, and not just club officers can attend, but anybody can attend. And that's where the roles of the club officer positions really are discussed and gone over. And finally, TI has a wealth of information on the website. If you go in and spend some time and do some exploring, you can find a lot of things and learn a lot of information. Now looking at it from a non-district leadership role who's maybe interested in becoming a district leadership and wanting to find out what information is available, there again too, talk to your area director. But anyway, you could talk to any of the positions in district leadership roles, because leadership is one of the main goals that Toastmaster has for our members. So anybody will be glad to help you and answer any questions that you do have. And also, one document that TI has on their website that I found that have been really beneficial is called the District Leadership Handbook. That describes a lot of the different officer levels and duties involved. So finally, looking at it from the point of view of a district leader, what training is available for the district leader in that position? Cindy's mentioned a lot of the things that are available. There's the kickoff meeting at the start of the year for all the new officers. She mentioned the monthly DOT, district officer training sessions. And there again, too, there's a wealth of information, like I had mentioned, also on the TI website. So with that, there's plenty of information. All you have to do is take the initiative and ask or look. So back to you, Sherry.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's just amazing that the opportunities that club officers have to move up into a district role. So if you feel like you're ready for another challenge and you want to share the information back with your club, that's the best way. If you're looking at a club that may be struggling, the best way to infuse your club with more information and more excitement would be for one of your club officers to step up and become part of the District 24 leadership. Because at Toastmaster Leadership Institutes, TLIs, you meet twice a year, and those really help provide information back to the clubs. But then you also know what is happening at the larger scheme of things, because you get to know what's going on at the district and at the international level. The club offers so much, but the district can offer so much more and can supplement maybe some additional challenges that you're looking for. And so the particular area of what we're looking for today is why did you say yes? And so I would like Linda, would you please share with us, why did you say yes?
Thank you, Sherry. I will admit that the first time I said yes to District 24 leadership, it was to meet a requirement for the legacy program and because I was asked. But after that, I was hooked. It felt really good to connect with other members outside of my club to encourage and help them to grow and develop their talents. At the same time, I was gaining new skills and experiences and connections with new people. In other words, it was a win-win for me. I especially enjoyed serving as an area director, so much that I ended up serving in that role 3 different terms. So it was very gratifying to play a part in the continued growth and success of members and clubs while experiencing their unique cultures and traditions, which there's just a wide array of different cultures and traditions if you explore the other clubs. I'm also thankful to have been blessed with some great mentors who instilled in me the importance of passing it on. And I like to quote from Mother Teresa, who so eloquently stated that I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. In other words, each of us has the power to make a difference. And it starts with taking that first step by asking ourselves, if not me, then who would serve? So I'm asking everyone to consider this and say yes to District 24 leadership.
Excellent. Thank you, Linda. who can say no to that? So let's go ahead and there's often people who do stay and continue in district leadership. So I would like to go on to the next question of why do you continue to stay in district leadership? And I'd like to pose that to our current district director, Mark Fegan.
Thank you, Sherry. That's an interesting question. I started out, as Linda did, in the what's now called the Legacy Program. Legacy Program had a leadership track that emphasized a natural progression. You learned personal leadership within meetings, and the next step was to become a club leader, and the next step was to become a district leader. So I was prompted to do so by a good friend of mine who is a past international director, said, you need to do that. You can do that. So I volunteered, actually talked to Sherry about it, becoming an area director. And one of the things I discovered as I went through my education program for myself was I became more and more interested in what do I do after I get the DTM? There's no doubt I was going to get it, but what do I do afterwards? And my decision on that was I want to help other Toastmasters. And I actually started that before I finished the program. I was putting other people into speaking opportunities as a vice president of education and cutting back on my own because they needed the experience. They needed to be able to develop. After I finished my first year as an area governor, I was asked by the incoming district director to take another year because they needed some people who could work with clubs. And then I went on to division director rather. 3 years in, I decided that was enough. And I sat out and tried to work with other people as much as possible for a couple of years. Then my same good old friend, former international director, called me up and said, I think you should run for the trio because you can do the job. Now, Randy's hard to say no to, I'll tell you that. So I did. And it's just been a continuous improvement in myself, in communication, in leadership, and importantly to me, in helping influence other people. And that, ladies and gentlemen, my good friends, is why I have stayed in district leadership even after I finished my DTM. Back to you, Sherry.
Thank you very much. Wow, it just continues on and get excited about staying in leadership and folks are so encouraging and that's why we also need folks to continue on in other areas. And so Katie is on her path to DTM and working towards it. And so Katie, would you share with us why we would need an administrative manager in District 24?
Thank you, Sherry. Yes, so the administrative manager is probably not the first district leadership role that you think of when you're contemplating your Toastmaster goals. It wasn't on my radar. I knew that I wanted to serve in district leadership. The time commitment was a concern. I know I have a younger family, I have a full-time job. So I hesitated. Now we have in my club leadership, since I had shared my goals, they knew that I was interested. Well, Cindy played matchmaker and she knew Linda needed an administrative manager. And so she felt that I would be a strong candidate. So actually contemplating that offer, I explored what it meant to be an administrative manager. Didn't know that we had that opportunity until she asked. So I looked up the documentation. What does an administrative manager for Toastmaster do? So you're responsible for maintaining the historical records of the district, recording and distributing meeting minutes, and otherwise maintaining an accurate, timely records for district business. And that goes. So I take notes and record minutes and then publish those. But that doesn't seem too difficult. I think I can do that. Well, I shadowed the previous administrative manager and found, what the tasks were. But I learned that it's a vital role for the district. Taking those minutes and listening and recording the business of the district, and outside of the meeting, taking those notes and composing and drafting the minutes and getting those out to the district leaders so that they can be reviewed and approved. Right, that's that timeliness. If someone is being delegated that responsibility, we're taking away from their role as a different district leader. So having someone who's dedicated, who can focus during the meeting and take those notes, and then get those out in that right away, so that maybe those that can't be there have access to that. And then also, if you were there, you can review it and say, oh yeah, I remember that, or I know I have this action item. It's a wonderful opportunity for anyone who wants to improve their listening and their communication skills, and their organizational skills. So there's a lot of opportunities there to strengthen your personal skills in this role as administrative manager. So if you want to know more about it, just reach out to me and I'll share with you.
Excellent. Thanks, Katie. I think Katie talked about a lot about the listening skills and how it helps you in Toastmasters, but it also helps you in your work world, your work life as well. And not to mention, it probably helps you at home with your young family, having to listen to the kids, and sometimes they can't articulate really exactly what they want, so you have to listen a little harder on what they're trying to communicate to you if they don't have quite the right things to say. So Toastmasters helps you in all different types of areas in your life. I'd like to thank you, Katie. I'd like to move on to what if a lot of people are saying, oh geez, maybe in the back of their head, what if I need help on this, or I don't know how to do the job? So Floy, would you share with us what options or things we can use in our toolkit to help us with that?
Thank you, Toastmaster Sherry. I would love to share with where to find information. First of all, many people have heard me say over and over again that you don't have to know everything about a job. You just have to be able to show that you have the potential to do it and that you want to learn. The key thing here is that you want to learn, because in Toastmasters, we have somebody that will be there. We've talked about it throughout this program, the support that we get from the leaders that are in the office, from our fellow Toastmaster members, from those people who believe in us and want to see us grow and want us to learn to be all that we can be. And I think that we've talked about going out on the Toastmasters website, going out on the District 24 website. We've talked about the training that we provide. And we mentioned the word mentor a couple times too. And I think for me, when I was going through the areas, going through the being division and going through the chairs and all the way up to international director, there was somebody there that was willing to let me ask them questions, that was watching what I would do and say, you might want to consider doing this, or have you thought about doing this? That they give us ways in which we might can grow as an individual person. And they share with us what they see in us. And it's that encouragement that we get from other people that really makes a difference, because we can read the books, we can watch the videos, we can go out on the internet and we can listen to what people say, but it's that encouragement that we need and that we get through Toastmasters that makes a job there. And the one thing I would like to leave you with thought of here is that district officers working through the club offices and all gives you an opportunity to try to learn things that you think you might be interested in doing, to develop skills that you think you might have, but you're not quite sure. Toastmasters gives you that opportunity to find out if it really is what you want to do. And for me, it has been wonderful.
Excellent.
Sherry.
Thank you very much, Floy. And the nice thing is about volunteer is that it's free. It's a free learning experience. Maybe, free, you have to pay your club dues to be a part of it. But you know what? The best thing is, as a volunteer, you can make a mistake and then you get feedback on how to do it better. And that's the beauty of learning in an environment where people support you. So I'd like to move on to the next question, which is, what would you say yes again, and what role? So I'd like the folks on the panel, everyone who's here, to go ahead and unmute yourselves, and I'm going to have you raise your hand. Just show me your hand and raise your hand if you would say yes again. would you say yes again? So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to ask Katie, what role would you say yes again to? Keep your hands up because I'm going to go through it quickly.
So I would say yes, I think, to an area director.
Okay. Floy.
Area director.
Mark.
Area director.
Linda.
Area director, for the reasons I noted in my earlier presentation.
Excellent.
That
Mike.
was very worthwhile.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Linda. Mike.
A continuation as finance manager, because I figure maybe I'll know what I'm doing the second year around.
Excellent. And Mike is actually serving double duty, I believe, this year, right, Mike? You're doing finance? No.
I was area director last year.
Last year. Okay. So last year. So he's moved on to try something new. And so what he just said is learning something new. And then, you know, he's grasping a lot of it, but he wants to even enhance it further next year. So that's excellent. Thank you, Mike. I think, Pamela, you had your hand up. Yes?
I did. I would actually, believe it or not, do division director again.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Does anybody else want to raise your hand that I missed? Just go ahead and shout out. Go ahead, Calvin.
I would be area director and potentially in the future finance manager.
Excellent. Okay. And I'm gonna call on Jessica because Jessica had some really good insights earlier when she was visiting, and she had. Can you just share a couple of things that you said why you wanted to be parliamentarian this year?
Sure. I wanted to be parliamentarian because it was something I didn't know a lot about, but I had some interest in. So I used that opportunity to learn more, and we can always learn more. So that's why I would say yes again. I would be an area director again. I would consider public relations manager, which is a role I've had in the past. Not in the near future, but I would be division director again, or possibly parliamentarian as well. So I'm interested in reprising really any of the roles that I've had in the past.
Excellent. Excellent. Did I miss anybody? Keith, you're smiling. Did you have anything? Now he's not smiling. Did you have anything that your thoughts?
I think it's great that everyone wants to be that area director, division director type thing, but I really think that stepping outside of your comfort zone to challenge yourself, to become part of the trio, is really something all of these people should strive for. Now that I'm in this first position that I have avoided for so long, it is great. It is providing me, an opportunity to really develop my international speech, which will come in about 4 years, but it also is a chance to learn something new and stretch the envelope for me, because if you keep repeating the things that you've done in the past, you don't necessarily grow as much as you could if you step out of your comfort zone and do something different. I mean, look at Floy as an international director. How would you expect someone like that to really reach out? She has grown so much because of Toastmasters, and she attributes it a lot to Toastmasters.
Excellent. Cindy Jenkins, what about you?
I think in the future, I would be PRM again because I learned a tremendous amount in that role. Worked with so many different people, got to do so many different things, learned so much. I would do that role again in several years.
Okay.
And
PRM is Public Relations Manager, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right, Linda?
I would build upon what was said, particularly by Keith Jones, to challenge yourself to do the best that you can and to stretch yourself. Granted, the trio, as was mentioned, there are a lot of responsibilities involved with that, but it can be very rewarding. There's a big need for district leadership right now more than ever in District 24 and across all districts. Challenge yourself. A lot of times you think, and I thought the same thing, that I could never do that. But think about it again and think about the support that you have, the team that you have. You're not on your own in this. That's been expressed before by others. You can do this gradually. Granted, it's a leap. You don't take the leap. You gradually go from area perhaps to division and so forth. But once you've gone through those leadership roles, think about it again. Granted, it's also prioritizing and managing your time, of course, but just think in the back of your mind that you can do this. The district needs you. Your fellow Toastmasters need you. It can be very rewarding to step up into that role.
Excellent. Moving on to the next slide. So our question to you is, after listening to all of the journey and the experience that folks have shared with you today, will you say yes to District 24? What friend will you ask to join you on the journey for District 24 leadership journey? So it's always fun if you bring someone else along, and then that's even double trouble for the district, right? You have your friend, it's you get to partner up, you get to, go and do some learning and exciting and growing exciting things for the district. So bring a friend along. If you're scared, then heck, bring a partner in crime and bring your friend along, and the two of you can really help each other out. Or two friends. It's even better when you have a couple of people in your own club and you get to talk about, you come back to your club and you talk about what happened in the district. Then that kind of like, oh, well, what's happening in the district, and other people get excited and involved and want to know what's happening in the district. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. And this is general information about what you need to do to become elected or appointed in the District 24. So there's 7 elected positions, there's forms below, and also on the District 24 double dozen and other emails that Calvin has sent out about, hey, if you want to be in district leadership, here's the qualifications, click here, complete all the required documents, a candidate application, a nominating form, an agreement and release form, biography, and then you would also want to submit a headshot for those 7 elected positions. The appointed positions, you would want to go to the District 24 trio, which is Mark, Cindy, and Keith, and you can refer back to the slides earlier for the appointed and selected special positions. We want you to definitely please say yes. Linda is the chairperson for the District Leadership Committee this year. So Linda Wilson, you can reach out to her. Her information is noted in the middle there. It's Linda Wilson, d24tm@gmail, and definitely if it's an elected position before February 15th. If you're like, oh, it's February 16th and you missed the deadline, please reach out to her and she would be able to help you, but please try to make it by make a decision or call her and ask her for further questions by February the 15th. But appointed positions, they're looking towards April 30th, and reach out to the trio for that. Let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. Linda, is there anything I missed on that you would like to add?
Yeah, I think you've hit all of the basics, and just remember, if it is a little past the deadline, as Sherry said, we'll certainly work with you on that. Don't worry about it. A couple of people have expressed concerns about their headshots. If you're a little delayed in getting that after the paperwork, there are no worries on that either.
Super.
So we'll work with you.
Excellent. I will go ahead and open it up to anyone who might have additional questions or would like to fill in or supplement to anything I've said here today or the panel has said here today. So go ahead and open it up.
Sherry, this is Floy.
Yes.
I think if we don't take an opportunity here within our district, within District 24, to start developing our leadership, we're missing a lot in life. We don't know what all our abilities are until we stretch that envelope, as we were talking about, until we try to do something we've not done before. And the fact that we have so much help to support us here, I think just really almost behooves us to think about doing that volunteer work. Raise your hand and say, yes, I want to learn. Yes, I want to try this.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's great. Clubs, I mean, there's so many clubs and there's so many untapped potential folks to participate in this. I think it would be really great to get out to the clubs. And also, any of the club officers can share with this information with them. You can find all this information about District 24 and about district nominations on the d24tm.org website. I'd like to go ahead and share one last time, opportunity for any closing comments from this group. Cynthia Coleman.
I just have to say this. When I became the first administrative manager, when the names changed, I was scared. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this all entails, but it seems interesting. Now, I've worked with my churches and different other volunteer organizations before, so I felt like, okay, but I've never done anything in Toastmasters. Let me go ahead and use the little bit of skills that I have. And when I did, I found out that I received so many more things that I didn't even think about that helped me. And I think that you all should take a moment, think about what you can do within our district, and Don't worry, you will receive help from the fellow Toastmasters who are right here. They will help you because I received a lot of help.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I'd like to thank Cynthia for helping coordinate this panel discussion today. I'd also like to thank Glenn Williams from behind the scenes and helping us be able to manage the Zoom portion of it. So thank you very much for being the host and the cameraman and the slides and all that good stuff. So I also like to thank the district trio for also allowing and encouraging this panel discussion today so that District 24 can continue on its success. Thank you everyone for considering it, and I really encourage you to say yes and to bring a friend along in helping District 24 next year. Thank you very much, and everyone have a great morning, noon, and afternoon and evening for wherever you're joining us today. Thank you. Have a happy Toastmaster Day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Sherry.
Bye.
You are welcome.
Thanks, Sherry.